we are down to one race remaining before the playoffs begin. The Glen has come and gone. We got a 5-time winner this season, and honestly, a very boring race. So let's hop in and talk about that. Watkins Glen. I normally enjoy this race because it's usually a good one, but I don't know. This race just it felt different. So the headlines heading into this race was Brad Keselowski pre-race said that him and Harvick need to be cheerleaders for each other because if one of them wins, then the other is for sure in. So Brad came out this morning, said that, which honestly I agreed with him because a driver was for sure going to make it in on points. So if Harvick or Brad Keselowski won, then the other was in. That was for sure. Well, the race showed us they're both in. Spoiler alert. If you guys haven't watched or heard the news. But honestly, well, that's going to be the big talking point this episode is just the playoff drivers. A lot of mistakes have been made. So, heading in, let's talk about it. Pre-race, we had 5 cars going to the rear. Corey LaJoy, Justin Haley, Cole Custer, Eric Almirola was a late addition to this list, and Brad Keselowski with an ECU. The reason I wanted to mention the ECU issue is because Michael McDowell later in the race apparently had one. So Denny Hamlin started on pole, William Byron on the outside. Last week's winner, Mike McDowell, started in third. McDowell, turn 1, is able to get around Byron, and on lap 4, passes Hamlin for the lead. On lap 5, Daniel Suarez makes a mistake through the bus stop, turning too much, hitting the curb the second left, and then as he turned right midair with the front tires off the ground, and when the car landed, instantly spun. We stayed green. He avoided the wall, avoided getting hit. Mike McDowell wins stage 1. Pit strategy was already in full effect. The drivers not in the top 10 were pitting. So mixed bag. Chase Elliott pitted on lap 17. There's a reason I'm mentioning that. Unfortunately for McDowell, he came in a lap. Stages were 20, 40, or when the stage were supposed to end, but no cautions. And McDowell comes in lap 21 and drives through too many pit stalls. So, rough day for McDowell. He goes from leading the race to coming out second a lap later because Byron had a clean track and set a blistering lap to beat McDowell in the turn 2. And then McDowell served his penalty, dropped to 17th, was leading the race to 17th. Unfortunately, that's not the end of McDowell's issues. William Byron then wins stage 2. It was honestly such a boring race. I'm going to be completely honest. Then green flag pit stops are beginning. McDowell comes in with 37 to go and slaps with another penalty of men over the wall too soon. He does get to serve his penalty, unlike Kyle Larson, who gets nabbed for speeding on exit, because coming with 35 to go, Chase Elliott out of turn 4, runs out of fuel, losing a lap. That is the first and only yellow of the day with 35 laps to go, ending 3 hours and 4 minutes of consecutive green flag running on the road courses. That's an impressive stretch. I'm surprised that's a fact, but we will take it. My mistake. Eric Almirola spins out of turn 7 with 17 to go. We stay green. He got loose, it looked like. NBC then went to commercial. Unfortunately for me, it looked like they went side by side, but watching it on the USA app on the computer, it took me full screen. And when we come back with commercial, they show Michael McDowell on pit road with the hood up. This was with 15 to go. Unfortunately for Michael McDowell, the from what NBC was saying, or USA, but NBC was saying is it looked like an ECU engine, like an ECU problem, not an ECU engine, but an ECU problem that affected the car, shutting it off, him losing power. His day was done. McDowell, unfortunately, came home last place. Not something you want to see after winning a race, but can't really control electronic when it says the car's dead. The car's dead. Byron comes around, wins the race. Coming out of the final turn, Larson and Austin Dillon and Corey LaJoie tangle. Larson and Dillon spin. Larson's able to get going again. Dillon sat there for a bit. But a winner, and looking at the top 10, because we're going to more discuss the playoffs. William Byron leading 66 laps, his first win on the road course, 9th career win, 5th this season, showing he's ready for the playoffs. Denny Hamlin 2nd, Christopher Bell 3rd, AJ Allmendinger comes home 5th. Ty Gibbs, top 5 all day pretty much. He was fast. Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher showing postseason form if you can keep that up. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano rounds out the top 10. Some other notable finishers. Bubba Wallace comes home 12th, creating a 33-point gap, which will be very helpful between him and Ty Gibbs. 32-point gap between him and Ty Gibbs. Suarez, unfortunately, even with that spin, is now 43 out, so realistically has to win at Daytona. So, you hate to see that. Honestly, Daytona is just going to be pure chaos. I think that's what I'm going to put my title for next week. Just chaos if chaos does ensue. Stenhouse 13th. Kyle Busch comes home 14th. Keselowski 15th. Austin Cindric 16th. Ryan Preece 17th. Ross Chastain brings home the 1 and 18th. Mike Rockefeller making his second start for Legacy Motorsports 19th. LaJoie comes across the line 20th after that involvement. Harvick 21st. Daniel Suarez, as I mentioned, not a good day, 22nd. Bowman brings home the 48 car in 23rd. And 26 is Kyle Larson. Cole Custer's 28th. Eric Jones brings home the 43 and 29th. He had a rough day. Almirola with that spin comes home 30th. 31st was Austin Dillon. Chase Elliott, 1 lap down, comes home 32nd. And Chase Briscoe, 35th, also had a rough day. Sounded like, from what I read, they had a lug nut stuck, like welded to the tire that they couldn't replace. So, rough day for him. But heading into the playoffs, we have 15 drivers locked in. 1 spot remains. It's going to be good, a doozy of a race at Daytona. You have Chase Elliott fighting for a spot. AJ Allmendinger is up for a spot. Ty Gibbs is on the outside looking in. Bubba's hanging on the spot. That if no new winner next week, he's in. Bowman's Daytona's fast. He's shown that the past few years winning pole for the 500. So maybe Hendrick can turn it around. Matt, I love Watkins Glen. Back when it was just the 2, Sonoma and the Glen was always a fun race. It felt like the cars could pass. But with this current generation of car, it is so much harder to pass. No fault of the teams. They're running a spec car, but NASCAR, we need to work on this. Because last week it was okay. It was entertaining. It was a decent race. But today was just nothing happening, nothing going on. As I said, Byron led 66 laps. Hamlin led 4, and then McDowell led 17. It was a pretty dominant race. You got in front, you were pretty much there. It's just not fun. These cars, what is the issue at short tracks and road courses with the next gen car? Take them to a mile and a half. Amazing. Super speedway racing technically is iffy in these cars too. So I think we're going to see chaos, but I don't know if it's going to be true chaos because of how these cars tend to race each other. But happy day. Me being a Hendrick guy, a Jeff Gordon fan, seeing the 24 in victory lanes, always a good day. But like personally, I wanted to see Alex Bowman win. It was just I want to see Bowman make it. I'm fine with Chase Elliott not making it. Chase Elliott can go into the offseason knowing he screwed himself. That's what happened. Chase Elliott screwed himself over. He decided nothing against the scene. Perfectly fine with drivers wanting to relax and de-stress. But coming back from Charlotte, you already missed 7 races. And then you come back from Charlotte and get mad that you got stuffed in the wall. Not even that hard. Roughed up a bit. In stage 1 of the Coke 600, you still have roughly 500 miles of racing left at that point. And you turned Denny Hamlin. Costing yourself that race and then gets the suspension the race after. So you just cost yourself 2 races there, losing the Coke 600 and then the suspension. You don't deserve it. You've been slow every single week. Like today, okay, can't really blame Chase. Alan Gustafson gave him the wrong information saying, okay, to flip the switch 2 times around. Well, apparently on the second time around is when the car actually died, so that's unfortunate. And NBC even played the audio. It sounded like he got misinformation. Steve Letarte was bashing Gustafson at that point, going 3 laps around Charlotte, Bristol, like any other track you can do. But here at the Glen, that's roughly 7 miles you're running. And he's like, Letarte was going, that means you need like a gallon and a half in the reserve, and I don't think 7.5 gallons. I mean, a gallon and a half's in there. So Gustafson kind of choked. It seemed like the 9 team just choked themselves. They were coming from 20th, I believe, 15th, 20th area for qualifying. Chase wasn't happy, but now it's like, now it's just he's. If I had to pick one of the 2 Hendrick drivers to like go to the playoffs, give me Bowman. Bowman at least looked like and deserved to be there compared to Chase Elliott. Bowman got injured running a sprint car race, breaking his back. That I'm not going to fault just because, oh, hey, he was actually trying to stay competitive, trying to be up there. But now it's like, out of the 2 drivers, I know Hendrick's only going to have two drivers in. Maybe 3 if we're lucky. I'm looking at him going, I want you, but I don't know if I can trust you at Super Speedway is the issue. So, but honestly, we need an update on these cars to make them better at road courses. I don't know what NASCAR needs to do, but they need to do something. And that's going to end it for me today. Work schedule wise, videos might be coming out, like harder to come out. Next Saturday, we will be having a race review the minute the 500 ends. I mean, the Coke 400 ends. The minute that race is over, I will hit the go live button. I mean, the record button, have that video up, talking about how that race went and who are the 16 drivers heading to the playoffs. Middle of next week, on my day off, I will also post my playoff prediction round by round, who I think is going to move on, and the champion from the 16. So I have plans for those. The TikTok collection is growing, so possibly a TikTok video this week. We will see. And I'll catch you later. Peace.